It's an exciting night here at the Starlit Arena in Reno, Las Vegas. Sitting next to me is my co-host, Jason McKenna. What are you doing, Jason? It's been a long time.
I'll tell you, it's been a long time. It's been a long week. It's been a long month, friend. I'm over here in California. The sun is shining. The temperatures are baking me. I gotta tell you, it feels fucking horrible.
You know what? That's great to hear. You're absolutely dominating this season. I haven't seen a play like that in the last 20 years from anybody who's ever come close to... You say California? Because I'm in Las Vegas.
Oh my god.
But that's okay. My darkest days are behind me. Absolutely unbelievable play from Peyton Manning. Did you see that last game?
I can't do this, John. I cannot do this.
Stop the clock! Stop the clock!
Time out!
Time out! It can't continue like this.
All right, so everybody, we had the grand idea to be not ourselves, but to be like actual podcast, radio personalities, like people that like emphasize words and use energy. And
that's right.
John was doing a good job, but I broke inside. My soul shattered. I couldn't.
This is your idea too. You called me like 3 weeks ago, and all you called to do was tell me that you wanted to do that, and then you laughed and had to go.
And then I abandoned it. Okay, so here's the deal with me.
Yeah.
I'll throughout the day, I'll be taking a poop, I'll shower, or I'll be doing something, and I'll be like, oh, this is a good idea for the podcast. And if I don't write it down or send it to you, it'll go away, right?
You forget. I understand, actually, completely. I often forget great ideas, and I 100% of the time think I'll remember this later, and I 95% of the time do not remember it later.
Yes. Even talking points. Like, there's like, oh, my God, I want to talk to John about this. And then, 15 minutes ago, I was like, okay, what did I want to talk to John about? I know we're going to do the radio DJ thing. That's about it.
I thought it was an excellent idea, and I've been actually prepping sort of all evening. So
I'm so sorry. I ruined it all. See, I'm a ruiner.
Within the first 40 seconds, we're done. That's fine. That's fine.
So tell me about your month. It's been my fault.
I was going to say, okay. It has been a while. We've both been busy. Life has been busy. We've presumably both had a lot going on. Things have been good. Things have been great. As a matter of fact, July has been a really good month for the shop, for both shops. I've been working on some new stupid t-shirt designs. I've been nothing new, specifically. Nothing new has been going on. But I'm John Sakura, host, alongside Jason McKenna here, and this is episode 3 of Razor Burn.
Razor Burn.
So tell me about your month. I mean, I've got literally nothing exciting to say. We adopted our store cat out finally. I've played a couple video games here and there, but even that barely. So. Okay,
so I went back to New Mexico.
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I only told a select few people in the hopes that I would get to hang out with them and designate time with all of them. And I 100% didn't see anybody that I wanted to see, just family. So okay. That plan immediately got, just like the radio host thing, but it got tabled immediately. Yeah.
So thrown in the trash.
Yeah. So we went back.
Was everything good on your visit down here?
It was wonderful, man. Got a lot of green chili, a lot of things done. I was helping my mom just do a lot of house things that she's too physically unable to do, like moving the bed or whatever it is, replacing some carpets or just getting things done for her. Right. Got to spend some time with Michelle's family also. It was wonderful.
Oh, good.
Really good experience because it's been forever. It's been close to 2 years. Maybe my math is off, but it's been a while since we got to see family and just be a part of society.
Oh, good. Did you get a chance at all last year to get out during the pandemic or anything like that? Were you able to leave LA to get to New Mexico? I can't remember if that had happened or not.
No, we planned on it. I can't remember the month. Just like our normal, we usually go back once or twice a year. Usually once. Pick a holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas. But we canceled all the plans because it got a little bit too crazy. With the logistics, and it made people nervous at some point during the year. I don't remember the month, but made people nervous to visit. So we were like, well, we're vaccinated, but maybe it's not worth it. So we canceled all plans. So yeah, we haven't been back to New Mexico since I think like Christmas, whatever the Christmas was before shit hit the fan.
Okay, so 2019, I suppose.
There you go. Yeah, see,
perfect.
You're good with
what
math.
What do you do during Christmas? What is a Christmas like in New Mexico for Jason McKenna?
We go back. We always stay at Michelle's family's. Just logistics. It makes sense. There's more cars there, more space, and you tried your best to spend your time with both families as much as you can.
Sure.
But it's hard. It's hard. It's not like those TV love stories where like both families, they be all combined and there's a beautiful dinner with like a huge dining table and there's candles and it's nothing like that. It's more like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to spend this amount of time with you on this day. Okay, sweet. So let's make that happen.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, in my mind, I was thinking that maybe you guys had graduated from like a table full of like food to like one of those like naked women like covered in sushi or whatever.
Ooh,
is that not the case? Is that not what you guys are up to?
Naked men, bro.
Naked men.
It's
okay, so here's a question. I was talking with my friend today, and I've been asked several times, like, just hey, who are your crushes? And it's very easy for me to just like go, well, I guess Rashida Jones, and like for some reason I have a really hard time thinking of like Hollywood women that I have a crush on. But then if someone's like, who are your male crushes? It's like, oh, that's easy. Paul Rudd, Hugh Jackman, like Chris Evans, and I could like rattle off a list of like celebrity men that I have a more active crush on. And there's plenty of beautiful women out there, of course. But it's a much easier question, The Rock and Jason Sudeikis. Like, there's a whole bunch of... It's much easier for me to think of male crushes over female crushes.
Yeah.
But I want to know some of yours. Male crushes, go.
Male crushes. I like... I like the idea of, like, tall, powerful men.
What's, like, powerful? Like LeBron James or what?
No, he's too rough. I need.
Oh, he's so power, but like contained, like a gentle power.
Exactly. You gotta.
Okay.
There's
like
a
Andre the Giant.
No, John. Idris Elba. Do you know who? Maybe I'm pronouncing his name.
Oh, absolutely. I know who. Yeah, he's great. That's
Oh.
also a male crush for sure.
Dude.
So, how tall is he?
I imagined him to be tall, and even if he's short, it's okay because I imagined him to be tall.
So what if he's like 5'4"? What if he's like Tom Cruise height?
I'll beat the shit out of him, and then I'll have him make love to me either way.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So, but yeah, I imagine he's probably like 5'10" minimum. I might be completely wrong. I have not researched this.
I imagine
Idris
he's
Elba.
taller.
So
him, there's the classic dudes like.
Tom Cruise.
No, I don't like short guys. Honestly, I think I'm one of those. I think I'm one of those bitches. I like tall dudes. So
okay, so what's the minimum height requirement then? Like, what's the smallest man you would date?
6 foot minimum. if you're under 6 foot, you're shit to me. You ain't getting it done, bro. Okay, so
but a short woman's okay.
Short women, I don't care about the height of a female, honestly. However, I've never truly tested that by like, seeing how I would react to somebody that's my height. I don't know. It's easy for me to be like, oh, I don't care about height. But like, if I confronted a woman who's 6'1", I'd be like, maybe I'd chicken out. You know what I mean?
You think so?
I think I'd chicken out.
Okay, what if she was like tall and gentle?
Well, then I would beat the shit out of her and then have her make love to me either way.
Okay,
just the same thing with Idris Elba.
There's a spectrum in which everything is okay, and then the rest of the spectrum is all just like terrible abuse and lovemaking.
Yeah, it ends with beautiful lovemaking. It's the makeup.
Oh, I see. Okay,
the makeup.
I see. That's your apology.
That is. So here's. I thought that it was interesting you brought this up because we were talking about catcalling. And I wondered if it has ever successfully netted a relationship or even a hookup, right? A cat call, like, hey, baby.
Sure.
But then somebody brought it up to me that it's possible that catcalling is not meant to get the attention of the girl. It's actually kind of like a homo thing where you're impressing your dude friends around you. So,
Gotcha.
right?
So
and I was like,
you're trying to
oh,
impress
dude.
the guys around you to make
Yeah.
them think that you are like more accessible or more
Yeah.
desirable or something.
Yeah, that you're just like, you're into that action.
Oh, that's
So
an interesting theory. Okay,
I
never
know.
thought about it that way.
And neither did I. It popped my little bubble, and I was like, whoa, if that's true, it's true.
Sure. I mean, absolutely, you could definitely have some person, some man in isolation who does see a woman, and he's starved for attention, so he thinks that like, that's a way to validate himself, because it's probably not going to like make a woman feel validated because she probably doesn't care at all. But
Yeah.
like it makes him feel like he's sort of in a position of, I'm going to do this, and it's going to like
Yeah, it's going to get a
if
reaction.
she likes it, good on me, and if she doesn't like it, I'm going to make that makes me feel sort of like, I guess, good, which is it's terrible, of course. I don't think men should
Yeah.
be doing this kind of thing and making women feel uncomfortable.
Exactly.
But I wonder if that's sort of like where that stems from, is like this, I'm validating myself by like harassing somebody.
You got to wonder, man. You got to wonder.
And I suppose that's what most harassment really is trying to like, make yourself feel better about something, and utilizing that, element of power to try to, make you feel better than you do. That's the guess, I suppose.
It sounds good. Like on paper, you know what I mean? It sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm into that. I'm buying that psychology 101.
There you go. All figured out. All figured out.
Again, they brought it up though because, I never, being a male, taller guy, whatever, I never once have been catcalled. So it's just never entered my realm of thinking
It's
of
something
how
that
that
does
might
not
make
really
somebody feel.
happen to men often.
Yeah.
Especially
Plus, I'm not hot.
comparatively. Oh, you're a hot dude, Jason. I'm going to say yes.
Oh no, dude! I got breasts. I got gut hanging over the waist. That's not catcall material.
Nothing wrong. Ain't nothing wrong.
But yeah, it was just it made me sad to hear that that like it's like harassment, because it never entered my mind and I never really thought about it. You know what I mean? I never put some mental energy into be like, what does that make people feel like? But sounds bad. Sounds bad.
Well, what's great about that kind of conversation, though, is that something that we have. The conversation took a very serious turn, and I think that's fine. Something that I've learned a lot in recent years is really about how we have sort of behaviors that are taught to us, but because we've known them our whole lives, it's easy for us to sort of look at these behaviors as sort of, oh, that's just status quo. This is what happens. This is how people act. This is just, sort of what goes on. And catcalling and that kind of behavior is something that is important to recognize, like you have, to look at it and go, oh, shoot, I didn't realize that was harassment. And from that point forward, I think it's important to look at other behaviors that we have as men and say, well, are those things actually okay? Because our whole lives we might have been taught that they are, because they're just behaviors we've been a part of for so long. But then to sort of like look back and go, oh, shoot, no, maybe that's not okay, because maybe that does make somebody feel uncomfortable or weird or awkward or, less than or undervalued or something. And, in the face of a lot of things like in the industry, you've probably seen that whole thing with Blizzard.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of employees are walking out because there's a lot of really terrible behaviors at that center. And obviously some of them are really like violently creepy and awful. But I wonder if there are people out there who have just sort of been around this behavior and just sort of assumed that, okay, well, it's not so bad because I'm not seeing anybody get hurt or I'm not witnessing the behavior the same way. And so they just sort of shrug it off as, well, that's part of the culture, instead of thinking, hey, there's something really wrong with this. We need to, like, stop it or call it out or, like act against it. Because when I worked, for Blizzard about, 15 years ago at Sitel, I guess working for Blizzard through Sitel.
Yeah, like a call center thing, right?
At the call center thing, yeah. And so I don't know that I remember seeing any of that behavior, but number one is that doesn't mean it wasn't happening. And number two is I just don't know if I was looking out for it because my brain wasn't trained to see some of those things as problematic, but just simply, the way things went. And so I look back and go, oh man, like, obviously I wasn't trying to be complicit, but was I a part of something unknowingly and didn't call it out because I didn't know how to recognize it?
Exactly.
And, that's, something really big to try to be aware of, and something that makes me want to be more hyper aware of those kinds of things and really stand with people and friends that have felt uncomfortable or harassed over the years.
Totally.
That I just didn't know about,
Totally. It reminds me. It's like, I guess maybe it's just part of life. You get older, you learn things. You're like, oh, maybe that wasn't so cool. Similar thing happened during the Black Lives Matter situations going on. Like, I never felt that I was like a racist person. I've treated everybody the same, and I've got along with everybody.
Sure.
But I've definitely made some racy jokes, and not necessarily. It was never restricted to just one particular race or one particular person's body fat. Like you just make these jokes, not thinking about it. But now in retrospect, it's like, ooh.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest key components of behavior that we can really work with, is to look back and say, I made errors, and I don't want to make those errors anymore. Because I'm the same. We've all made a lot of jokes, and they've sort of been like, punching down at other people's expenses. And sometimes they would be racially charged, and then sometimes they would be, oh, but it's okay because I have a friend who's that race. And like, obviously, like there's sort of like this mindset that we had when we were younger that's like, well, what justifies us being able to have fun at somebody else's expense? And while we may have never genuinely meant it, it doesn't mean it didn't mean something to somebody else,
Totally.
And so looking back at that, I look at my old behaviors and I say, well, I feel like I was kind of a turd when I was younger, but I'm glad I can recognize that and really actively try to be better about those kinds of things. Because I can't stop it now. I can't undo it. Yeah. But I can work better going forward upon like seeing those things and recognizing those things and being aware and cognizant.
I think I made... I think I felt bad. Like, it all hit me like a wave one day. I was like, oh, shit, I was a terrible person. And I didn't even know that I was a terrible person, right?
Sure.
And so I made some phone calls to some friends, and I'll be like, hey, by the way, the person, you know what I mean? Like, that person that you knew and those jokes that I said, I apologize. Like, I didn't realize that I was adding to the problem. And even if they weren't offended at the time, now thinking back, it's that social programming that you hear those things and you stereotype people in certain ways. Like, even if you're deep friends with them, you gotta wonder, is it cool? But anyway, I called them to apologize, and I made the situation uncomfortable because it was like years ago. You know what I mean? So like they don't know. They're like, well,
they might have forgotten or just written it off.
It was just one of those things that I don't know, man. I tried to make it better. I made it. It wasn't worse. It was just awkward, and then it was like kind of funny afterwards. So I guess it was worth it.
Yeah. I've done the same with a couple of friends as well too, and I think it was more like that. I didn't do like a phone call, but like there was a couple sort of Facebook messages written about like hey, if I ever did this at any point and it was harmful or hurtful, I'm really trying to be a better person. And they've been met largely very well, but it reminded me of this thing because I've got ADD and I'm always trying to remember if I've done something or not. But did you ever watch like Louis C.K.?
Oh, I love him.
Okay, so I do too. The dude's also made some really massive, errors in judgment. 5 years ago, I can't remember, but like, obviously those kinds of behaviors, same kind of thing, not okay. But there was an episode of the show where he goes and he does something, or remembers that he did something to like Mark Maron, one of the other comedian, one of his friends, and he goes to his house and like sits down, and Mark just sort of like rolls his eyes and lets him in, and he's like, no man, I really gotta apologize. I was such a piece of shit back then. I can't believe this. And then after Louis C.K. gives off like this whole like dialogue, Mark Maron just goes, like, is that it? Is that it? And Louis C.K. is like, wait, did I do this already? Did I do this already? And it turns out like he had done it like already the year before.
My God.
But then a year later remembered he was still a piece of shit, and then came back and re-apologized for the same thing. And I was like, am I doing that to people?
Yeah.
Am I just like, apologizing, then being stupid and forgetting, and then doing it again later? And I don't know, maybe.
Oh, but... yeah, dude. I can't remember anything, so it's entirely possible. That's so funny.
Yeah. And I think it's good because, something that has come up a lot is I do genuinely believe in my heart that people can become better. I don't necessarily think all people do or choose to, but I think everybody is capable. And if I see somebody who's hurt me in the past, or hopefully somebody who would do the same to me that I've hurt in the past, I think I would like to be forgiven. I don't expect everybody to forgive me. I don't expect everybody to like sort of drop it because I apologized or I felt bad. I understand some people simply want to leave it there and move forward. I think that's fine. But I think for me, if I've been hurt by somebody, I want to say, that's not who they are. It's just what they did. And because I've done the same, I've done it to countless people. And I think that we all are capable of finding a way to theoretically become better versions of ourselves, to grow from that. And forgiveness is an interesting thing because everybody sort of, I think, forgives differently. And some people simply forget it and that's really it. Some people acknowledge it, still hold on to it and guard themselves. And then some people will like release a person entirely, but no longer let like that situation have control over them.
Yeah.
And there's, of course, countless ways to forgive somebody, whatever that might mean. And also, I don't think people have to forgive one another. I think it's freeing for the soul to do so. For me, it has been anyway. But I thought I had like a really good point that I was going into at the very, very end of this, and it sort of crept back in and then left again.
Yep. Happens to me all the time.
I might think of it. But yeah, well, this is what listeners want, is for me to have like 80% complete thoughts. I think that's very satisfying for the consumer.
80%'s close. That's close to 100, baby.
This is pretty good. I'm getting there. Yeah.
No, the thing that I took from that is, it sounds good that you are actively trying to be better, right? Because I just stumble and fumble upon things, and then maybe I'm better afterwards, and maybe I'm not. I'm not very good at getting better. You know what I mean? Like losing weight or thinking about others more, or I'm very challenged when it comes to being better. Like I don't meditate, I don't exercise. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it sounds great that you expend brain energy on the idea of, how can I be better than what I was? I don't. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that horrible joke.
So you're just mostly like looking to the past and saying, I wish I hadn't done that thing then.
Correct. Yeah, like I'll watch a movie and I'll be like inspired. I'll be like, oh, I should probably apologize for something. You know what I mean? I'm not actively
you just see somebody and assume that you've wronged them somehow.
Yeah,
anybody.
Exactly.
Statistically, it's probably happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, even like this conversation is an acknowledgement, and simply acknowledging it is a huge step.
True.
So like I'm not going to like sit here and say, oh, you're not doing something to make yourself better, because talking about it is huge.
I agree.
Talking about it, having a conversation about it is a massive step as far as I'm concerned.
It's like working out a muscle. It's it's doing something that wasn't being done before. So yeah.
Yeah, and what's cool too, I think about like the dynamic of our friendship, and people like you, me, and Danny, and Lucas, and like people who have known each other for a super long time, over 2 decades. It's really cool, I think, to look at where we are now versus who we were then, and really say, wow, like, a lot of great stuff has changed. There are some core fundamentals that are the same. There's maybe some old things still to work on. There's some new things to work on. But, like, you are still Jason, one of my best friends since high school, but you've grown in such a way and changed in such a way that, like, the relationship I think that we have as people is even better, because we still laugh with one another. We still, we don't play games together anymore, but games were sort of like a bonding agent that just held us together at the time. We were still having fun if we were at IHOP. We were still having fun if we were in the backyard. We were still having fun if we were on a road trip. So it wasn't just video games. It was doing whatever we did, and that still like persists. And I think that's really, really great, because you're still that same excellent person. And in my mind, you haven't like aged, obviously we have, but in my mind, you're still the same Jason, just with more experience.
Yeah.
And that's just really cool to me. So
yeah, a little bit more traveled, a little bit more sun worn, a little bit more miles under my feet.
Yeah. A couple more movies watched. What's the last movie you watched?
Ooh, hold on.
It was in New Mexico. Ever?
Oh, I love watching movies in theaters, but we haven't, the lockdown. The last movie I watched, what was it? I was definitely a horror movie, which I hate,
Did Michelle like make you watch it, or did you just pick something you hated one night on Netflix?
No, I think it was a social thing. Maybe like Michelle's coworkers going and seeing. I think it was that clown movie. Yeah, okay. It, I think, was the last movie I saw in the theaters. Maybe I'm wrong.
The Chapter 2?
All I know is there was an old lady. There's a scene in a house where there was it was supposed to spook you out, but I thought that the lady that went by that scared everybody else was super hilarious. The way she walked by.
She was all naked and weird, right?
Yeah, she walked by it, and I started laughing in the theater during a scary moment. It was embarrassing because, Michelle's coworkers were like, "What is this dude doing?"
Yeah, they
don't know my history.
How well do her coworkers know you? Because that's very characteristic.
I think they get an idea, but I don't think they grasp that there's, you know what I mean? Like there's a large shadow of of who I am. I think they only see like a couple roots coming up above the surface. You know what I mean? But my tree, if they only knew,
they're not dug deep enough.
Yeah, they couldn't respect me. In fact, I don't even think they would respect her
because of her association with you.
Exactly. Be like, did he really do that? Yeah.
So you watched the movie with them. You laughed at all the stuff that was inappropriate to laugh at.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
It felt good because really I go to theaters because I just want to eat popcorn. It's my excuse to eat a bunch of butter and salt.
Buttery popcorn. What's better?
There's nothing better. A lot of people like that sweet shit, which is delicious, obviously.
Sure.
But I don't know.
Yeah, like kettle
can't
corn?
break tradition. Yeah, kettle corn.
Yeah, that stuff's good. But butter popcorn from the theater it's one of a kind. I did discover something some years back, which is if you eat like a big handful of salty buttery popcorn with like a bunch of pretzel M&Ms mixed in, like the sweet and salty combination is just to die for.
Really?
Jason, go back to the theater and try this.
Okay, so salty buttery popcorn. Throw in pretzels, and did you say M&Ms?
Is the pretzel M&Ms? The M&Ms like with pretzel inside.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, let me tell you.
I like flavor combinations.
Absolutely.
Oh, John. Speaking
tell me.
flavor combinations, I don't know about recently, but in my adult life, in my 30s, I experienced fruit in salad.
Fruit in salad? Okay.
Yeah, the 20-year-old Hispanic me would have been like, what kind of white shit person is that? Well, who put fruit in a salad? But, dude, I had one. There's like pecans, and there was like some strawberries, and maybe even those motherfuckers threw in some blueberries in there. I don't even know.
Okay.
But this
that's
salad,
your new jam.
It was good, dude.
Okay.
It was
like,
good.
Was it like a salad you went like at a restaurant and got, or something you guys made at home?
No, I think it was something made at home. Yeah, it was just like there was ingredients in the fridge. White people were involved. I got in there, and yeah, man, it was good.
Okay. So you started making salads. Is that something you do regularly now?
We try to eat like at home as much as possible, and we try to eat as little meat as possible, and we try to eat as much vegetables as possible, which is usually defaults to some sort of salad. So. All
right. So what's the best vegetable then for you?
In meals or like just in general, like for the.
If someone is going to say, "Hey, I'm going to hand you any vegetable of your choice, and you get to eat it," what are you going to choose right now?
Shit, by itself? Okay. Corn.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. I don't know if that's
corn all day. Okay, so do you think corn is the best vegetable overall then? Like not just for you, but like if mankind were to take one vegetable and thrive, that would be the one?
Yeah, man, because you could genetically modify it to be anything, I think. And it's good with butter.
That's true.
And salt.
Corn does become an awful lot of things. It becomes like sugar in your cereal. It becomes starch for your tortilla.
I think it's in plastics. I think corn, dude. They've I'm not
you
even
might
joking.
Be right.
You can Google the uses of corn, and it's in like a lot of things.
All things. Yeah. Life begins at corn.
Absolutely.
Do you think any members of the band Korn ever ate corn at any point in their lives?
No, but I never. Okay, so I have a beef with corn. The beef is, I never understood the music of that genre. A. B. I never understood the stupid ass CD picture labels where they're like, all right, because we're this type of music, we're gonna make ugly backgrounds and unhappy clowns and melting like. It bugs me, dude. Oh, dude, I'm getting mad. I'm getting mad right now thinking about all the shitty ass seedy labels that are all the same.
Okay, so around the time that like corn was getting popular, which was like the mid '90s, a little bit later in the '90s, do you remember Limp Bizkit?
Oh, I remember Limp Bizkit. Of course.
Yeah, so that guy. So Pat came to the store today and showed me a picture of him, and he just has like gray hair and a mustache, and he looks like Sam Elliott. And it's just the weirdest thing to see Fred. He deleted all his Instagram pictures except for this one where he looks like a cowboy, like an old man cowboy who's trying to like teach his kid how to put gas in a tractor.
Oh, so this is him like modern times?
Yeah, it's weird.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and I don't know like when the picture came out, but like Pat just showed this picture to me this afternoon. Go to Instagram and check out Fred Durst and see what Limp Bizkit has turned into. Or I don't know if he's in Limp Bizkit anymore, if they're even still a thing. But I don't know if he eats a lot of corn. He looks like a farmer though, so maybe he.
Yeah, he probably what is it? Dabbles. He probably dabbles in.
He dabbles in corn. Like he like sort of cuts it in half and tries a piece in his salad. Corn in salad's really good.
Corn
Would
and
you do
salad
that?
is really good. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm corn on anything.
John.
Though, I went to the county line.
Oh, I remember that place. Tramway.
I got like this creamed corn green chili like recipe, but like it was not really like creamy. It was a little bit dry and it tasted kind of weird. Like it was all right because I love corn. I love green chili. I love cream corn, but it just felt like pasty. Like it wasn't wet enough, and that was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, something was going on.
Something was going on, man. I don't know what was going on at the county line that night.
Dude, county line.
You got something on your mind?
I was going to ask you about, well, you spoke of corn in salad. Do you remember Noda's? I don't know if you ate much salad back then, but I could have sworn
at Noda's,
there was salad
I would eat
in
their
like
salad.
a crunchy. Yeah. It was like a ginger
ginger sauce, like little Crispies
corn.
in it.
Yeah, there was Crispies, and I'm pretty sure there was a couple corn in there.
There probably was, and it was the best salad and the best food I've ever had in my life.
100%.
And there's nothing that has come close to that yet. Like, there's been a lot of great food out there, but nothing like a hot plate of crunchy chicken and that salad from Noda's has ever been filled in my void.
100%. Okay. I have a question for you, and I need you to dive deep on this because I want to hear your perspective. I'm convinced that everything that I experienced was the best. Right? I'm convinced that our group of friends was the funniest. I'm convinced that I had the luckiest life that a person can have. Like I wouldn't trade it for anybody's life, right? Like my brain assumes all these things are true, and it goes with food also in Albuquerque. I'm convinced that Albuquerque food is when you add it all up and put it against other cities or whatever. I think we got the best because I've eaten in a couple places on this globe. And there's some good restaurants, but I feel like Albuquerque was something special, man. They got the Nodas, and so I wanted to hear your hot take on that. Like, do you think that everybody in the world experiences that, where they're like, "Oh no, man, I grew up in Houston. Houston's definitely the best, food in the world." Everybody experiences that.
Sure.
I assume.
I think that it probably. I feel like most people are probably going to say that like the food that they're familiar with and the food that they grew up with is probably the best. And whether it objectively tastes the best to them might be completely dictated by like what memories, what associations do you have? Because like to me, some of the greatest food I've had is in New Mexico. I've eaten plenty of places around the world as well. But when it comes down to it, I wonder if there's like an association for the people you were with at the time and the memories associated with the food and the food tasting good on its own, but the fact that like you have a good memory of it makes it taste better. Because you're gonna get people that go, "Oh, New York pizza's the best," and then you get people gonna go, "Oh, Chicago deep dish is the best," or whatever. And everybody's gonna have like their own opinion on which of these things is better. But to me, Dion's pizza is the best, and I've had Chicago deep dish, and I've had New York, thin crust, and it's great. But I will take Dion's because I grew up with that. Totally. And to me, there's no better comforting taste than the foods that I had with the people that I love.
Totally. All right. That makes sense.
Think of like all the times that we used to go before playing Razor Burn in the park, and we'd go to Gardunios.
Oh, dude.
And like Gardunios is not, I think, like the best New Mexican food in the city, but like the memories I have of eating the taquitos with like their red chili salsa is some of the best food I've had. And some of my favorite like memories of like actual physical taste. So just because like it was part of that era, and it was great in my mind. Therefore, it was great food.
Yeah,
legitimately some of the best.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Damn it.
Because like imagine if you like went to like Thailand or something, and you were like in the middle of like getting a divorce, and like you cut off your finger, and you got gangrene, but like you had the best food of your life. Would it still be the best tasting food even if your like whole thing is fucked up?
No way, dude. You're not gonna make those special brain connections with pleasure.
Right, yeah. Like everything's gonna be like, okay, that was, But if you like went back, with like, 5-year friends on like a 3-month long trip and found the love of your life and then ate that food, it would probably taste better than anything in the world forever.
Yeah. All right.
So I wonder if that's part of it. That's of course not.
That
that's just a theory, but that's
sense,
what I would think.
That makes sense because, like, how many times in like weddings you always hear the bride and groom say that, "Oh, this is the best husband in the world," and you're the best man on the planet, and then you always hear people say, "Oh, dude, my mom is the best mom on the planet." Like everybody just thinks that kind of shit, I guess.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. And I'll be honest, I feel the same. I feel like the group of people that formed me, which is all the people I grew up with, you and Michelle and Jason and Danny Lucas, like all these great people, I can't imagine a better group of friends.
That's what I'm saying. But then all those other fucking idiots out there with their own groups of friends thinks the same shit.
Yeah, with friends that might be all right, like Did you see Shaun of the Dead?
Hold on, that's a zombie thing.
Zombie,
right?
like it takes place in England. It's kind of like a comedy zombie movie.
Yeah. The nice white guy.
Yeah, Simon Pegg.
Yeah. I've for sure seen it. I for sure have seen it.
Okay, so like at one point during the film, like they're you get to know all these people, and this is actually I think kind of a cool illustration is that you get to know them because you're around them, you watch them, and you meet Simon Pegg, and you meet his best friend, and you meet his girlfriend and his girlfriend's friend, and then like their big tall buddy with like the glasses, and they're all hanging out, right? And like for the first like 40 minutes of this film, you're getting to learn and know all these characters, so you're starting to get attached, you're starting to know them, you're starting to see them as like, okay, this is a group of friends. And then at some point, like halfway through the movie, they come across like another group of people that's just like them. There's like the white guy leader, there's his chubbier best friend, there's a girlfriend, the girlfriend's friend, and like a tall dude with glasses. And they walk by them at the same time, like they cross paths. And you look at these other versions and you go, oh yeah, those are like dollar store versions of the main characters.
Yeah. And
so like in my mind, I kind of think that like, yeah, they seem like passable because you're not used to them.
Totally.
But... and then with all the people that you grow accustomed to and you're used to, like that's fair. I've looked at so many people in my life and just thought, well, that guy's funny, but he's not as funny as Jason. That guy's clever, but he's not as clever as Danny.
Yeah.
This guy is bizarre, but he's not as bizarre as Dan. Like I've had those sort of thoughts before.
Yeah. Oh, so that reminds me. Okay, I can't remember the comedian, like a very funny comedian, and he constantly saying hilarious things, and he was doing a podcast or something. Where he talked about he hangs out with all the other comedians, right? You network and you spend time with all these people at the comedy club, and you get to know all those people, and they become your friends. And he said something that blew my mind. He was like, dude, I mean, I know a lot of comedians, they're funny, sure, we have laughs, but I gotta tell you, the people that I grew up with are just 10 times funnier. Like the people that I knew in high school, they make me laugh way more than Louis C.K. You know what I mean? And he's name dropping all these comedians, and I was like, whoa, I never thought about that. Yeah.
Well, so this actually reminds me of something. Do you remember when you went and did stand-up comedy downtown?
Oh, gosh, yes, I do.
So, the people that did not grow up with you, I think you had a much harder time, like, trying to market your comedy to, right?
Correct.
And it's scary because like those people aren't used to it. They don't know you. Whereas every last thing that you said, like Danny and Slimpy and I were sitting in the back just laughing because we knew Jason and the style of comedy that you deliver. So all of it was funny because that's just what you were doing.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to think about, but to these people, you're that like dollar store comedy friend because they don't know you.
I'm just that guy in the background, the extra that
right?
Yeah.
Just the dudes, when you're in the movie theater screaming at an inappropriate scene out of laughter, You know, to me it's hilarious, but to like some other dude, he's probably like, "Oh, this stupid piece of shit."
Yeah, ruining
you
my
know?
movie. Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah. Life is crazy.
And that's great. Yeah, I wouldn't trade those experiences for real. And this is, I see it in video games too, where people will grow up with certain games and say, "Well, this is the best one," and it's like, obviously, there's no best video game. Everything is fully subjective.
Yeah.
But the best ones are the ones that we have the best associations with. And, you know, for a lot of people, it's Ocarina of Time. For a lot of people, it's Final Fantasy VII. For a lot of people, it's Mega Man X. Like, there's, you know, countless games out there that were people's forays into, like, something new.
Yeah.
And so the value of that will always be better than even if something comes out that is objectively better. Better program, better graphics, better writing, better whatever.
Smoother.
You know? Like,
well, I think that we could all agree that the objectively best game of all time is that motorcycle one where I laugh uncontrollably when you play it.
You're to trials when you're
Dude.
like you're riding a motorcycle and you're trying to like go through the obstacle course, but then sometimes it's really far away and you can't hear anything.
It's so funny. Watching you play that and fail. Oh gosh, it gets me.
Yeah.
And I imagine that this is a similar experience that everybody's out there is having, where they have a friend come over. One of them's doing something and they crash horribly, and it's just you look over at them and you're like, "That's the funniest game, dude." That is the funniest and the best game.
It is one of the funniest games. Yeah, that's fair. We played it an awful lot. Michael Graham and I would often get into that, but I think I remember you and Michelle coming by.
You would always target me. You would like rev the engine for no reason. Like you were mean to me because you made the game funny. You didn't even care about actually passing the level. You were just doing stupid shit.
Yeah, that's true. I think one of my favorite things was, and I targeted you a lot when we used to play like the Jackbox games as well.
Yeah.
Is I don't even care if anybody voted for my shit. I just wanted to like put an answer up there that would make you laugh.
Exactly. That's why I never have won that game, because I'm always trying to make somebody laugh.
Yeah, and that's more important, is, you know, because obviously those points are arbitrary. But God, and I don't know if we talked about the laughing game much. I know sort of like the end of this podcast, every episode, all two of them, I guess so far, we do this thing where we have like a minute to make one another laugh. But we invented this game at some point. Was it at the apartment or was it before that at my mom's house? I feel like we must have done something at my mom's house at some point for the laughing game.
Probably. I gotta tell you, I don't remember being embarrassed at your mom's house. So I kind of think that it might have, like, you know, been the sperm traveling up the cervix at your mom's. But the real first memories I have were of the apartment. So, but my brain.
I feel that's the same. To be totally honest. I don't remember doing anything at Mom's house. It would make sense, but I think it was at the apartment when we first started doing this. Anyway, for those listening, the idea was, and this was fun because you sort of put people on trial with like their humor, totally. And the objective was you had a group of people, say, sitting on the couch, and one person goes up and tries to make everybody else laugh, and if you laugh, you lose. So you have to go up there, and then you have to make people laugh, and it's hard because everybody has different styles of humor. I don't want to say some people weren't funny, but some people just didn't click with others. And so sometimes it would become so awkward that somebody would laugh because like 10 minutes would go by and everybody was just like... and uncomfortable because it wasn't funny. But then the more uncomfortable it became, the funnier it got. So there was its own merit to like something bad happening that was uncomfortable for people.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it's not funny like that. You make eye contact with somebody in the audience... that could be the end of you, right? So even if things are not funny, you got to be in the game, man. You got to be in the game. Don't look at people in the eyes because you don't want to go up there.
No. And it was really like genuinely trying to surprise people in like the most insane ways possible. And there's a couple standout moments I have. I wish we had recorded some of these. I feel like this is something that we should have recorded, and I can't believe we never did.
We'd be YouTube million. That's what I'm saying. Like,
maybe. Or everybody would hate us.
No. I look at other people's shit and I'm like, come on.
I think it was a great idea. And this is what, like 2003, 2004, I think, was about like the time we were all doing this. But one of my favorite memories is Danny, our big, tall, delightful friend. and like he's wearing like this leather jacket.
Oh
and, like,
my god!
He goes outside. You remember this one? And he goes outside, and he comes
Well,
in.
he's bombing.
And
He's
like,
bombing.
I'm sorry.
He's bombing. He's not doing well.
Oh,
so he goes outside because it's stressful.
Yeah, and so then he comes back inside, and like he like sort of like looks around, and he's like, I don't remember what he said, but something, you know, like, "Hey kid, you want a cat?" And he just reaches into his jacket and pulls this kitten out by the scruff, just out of nowhere, and not one person expected it. And I think everybody laughed, so I don't know who he decided we're gonna go. But then he just opened the door and put the cat back outside. But like,
no, it was funnier than that. The cat started attacking him because it was a stray or somebody's cat. And so when he was holding the cat was getting pissed and it was attacking him, and he was like, we were all laughing, but he rushed out the door and threw the cat out the door. It was even funnier. Dude, no, yeah, but that kind of stuff was the fun.
The laughing game. We used to play it pretty frequently. I mean, we'd probably do it like a couple nights a week. Everybody was super. I mean, I don't know if everybody was always excited about doing it, but every time you did it was fun because even if you sat in the corner and didn't laugh, it was still funny. You just tried not to laugh, because watching us do stupid things was, I don't know, exciting and fun, and we had to be super creative to mess with one another. And we, a lot of props were used and lighting and just. Oh my gosh,
there's, dude, literally, we could make a podcast telling stories of the laughing game, and the podcast will be, it'll go on for a while because there's
a lot of good memories. And doing it at Squeaks' house, or do you remember when we were really into dodgeball? When we would watch it at Squeaks' house, like Eric Searle. I feel like you were there. Slimpy was there. Maybe you weren't.
I'm sure. Like, I can't imagine that I wouldn't have been there, but maybe I was the fat kid inside.
I mean, because we weren't playing dodgeball. We were watching it. We were watching, like, the championships on TV.
Oh, I don't know. That doesn't spark memories.
Okay, maybe not then. Maybe it was just... Well, never mind. There's that story.
Well, what happened? What was funny about the dodgeballs? Because I've never heard it. So
that's totally fine. It wasn't that anything particularly funny happened, but I just had memories of being at Squeaks' house and doing like laughing game at some point. And I think you got me. Squeaks didn't resonate with this one, but you were like pretending to be like a dad coming home from the store, and you're like, "Why is there an antler in the Cheetos?" And I just started laughing, and Squeaks, wasn't phased, unfortunately, but that got me, because that's the kind of stupid shit that I'm into.
Yep. I think what made the laughing game bearable, even for the people that didn't like being the center of attention, or people that didn't enjoy making other people laugh, the standers-by, was the conversation afterwards. Because it's like, I don't know if you've ever... Yeah, you've played Mafia before, I think, anyway.
The card game?
Yeah, it's kind of like a card game where you pretend to be either a killer or everybody has roles. But then, like, after the game is played, everybody talks about the game. It's that post-game conversation that was super funny as well. Because then you break into your groups and be like, "Oh my god, Gunn was so funny. I can't believe he did that." Or Ed was just, that was the So it had the perfect recipe. It was the perfect storm. It was funny while it was happening, and then the great conversations afterwards. Then maybe even the dinner afterward. You know what I mean? It was like.
Well, what's kind of cool about doing something like the laughing game is it makes you vulnerable, and when you're vulnerable in front of everybody else, people who are sort of like closed off get to see that, and I think it helps them sort of like loosen up a little bit. So for any newcomers, getting a chance to watch you just go up there and like bomb at trying to like impress your friends with humor is kind of relieving, and because very seldom would somebody go up there and on the first try make somebody else laugh. Like, it happened occasionally, but usually it took like 3 or 4 like sketches or whatever to get you to get somebody. And some people reluctantly laughed, and some people just immediately.
Yeah, man.
It was great.
You know who was like the outstanding star whenever she participated was Michelle.
She was like the golden child.
She got people within a minute almost every time. She was
very fast-witted, very quick on the draw.
She was, dude.
Her delivery.
She always had something loaded. I think she had a plan going in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Michelle was extremely clever and extremely smart, and
do you remember
said
that
some
one
of the
time?
Funniest things.
Oh yeah. the one that got me, and I remember it to this day, is I think there was like a workout equipment or something in the house, and she went over to she disappeared to the bathroom for a little bit, and she came out maybe within 30 seconds or whatever, and she hid her face from everybody, and she got on the workout equipment, and she just turned to us and like walking on the treadmill or whatever, and was like, and she made her makeup into like a crying, horrible makeup situation, and she was like, she was saying, I've been working out for 3 days or something like that. And it instantly got us. Instantly. Oh gosh, she was. I'm telling you, I don't think she ever bombed. She always had a plan. Boom,
I think so. I think she got everybody every single time. Yeah, and I know that there were many times I went up there and struggled. And I was like, oh man, this is rough.
Oh, it's real bad, dude.
It's great because out of desperation, you do stupider and stupider things until you finally get somebody. But yeah, as a really creative type, yeah, she really always sort of had like the gears turning,
Totally, yeah. She was not going to be caught with her pants down.
Nope, she was always good. How is Michelle?
She's doing good, man. Working hard, just dedicated and badass. I'm inspired
That's great.
by her.
Yeah. TikTok.
TikTok. She's a TikToker. So. One of the things that I remember thinking about that I wanted to talk to you, I remembered, was, do you have funny stories that you can quickly tell? Maybe not long stories that you think would make me laugh. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I was talking to some Arizona friends, and I have really, really hilarious stories with them, just like you and I have our stories, laughing game and all that stuff.
You're talking about like Chucky and.
Yeah, Chucky and all those guys. Like, there's so many funny stories with our Arizona friends, and I actively wondered if me telling those stories to people outside that never experienced this would think it's funny. So that got my gears turning, and I was like, oh, I wonder if John has similar stories, where if he told me about something that I didn't experience, if I would think that story was objectively funny.
That's a good question. If you knew the person that like was in question, that I'm telling a story about, that would help a lot.
It would, yeah.
But if it were just some guy who didn't know any of their mannerisms or characteristics, like it might just be like, okay,
Yeah.
That's a good question. I suppose it depends on the story as well too. But knowing the people directly helps significantly.
Totally. Well,
do you have like an Arizona? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll give you an Arizona story.
Okay.
And you don't even have to think about it. I want to tell the story to the best of my ability and see if you think that it was as funny as we all think it is. Because we think it's just really funny. Okay.
All right.
And it's good because I know you know Arizona guys, but you don't really you know what I mean. You don't have
right. Yeah, I'm not really in the same level. It was yeah.
All right. So, but we all, I think Michelle and I had been going to like tournaments out of state, and we've been really kind of testing our feet or testing our skills against the world. We met some friends in Texas at a tournament down there, and it just so happens to be the Arizona guys. So this is how we got to know them. I don't know exactly what happened, but like we invited them over to Albuquerque for something, for maybe a tournament or just to hang out. We were all young, and it seemed like the right thing to do. Anyway, I didn't have a place of my own at the time. You got to remember, I moved out of my house when I was very young. I basically lived with you and Andrew and Danny, just whoever, right? Didn't have a home of my own. Here I was, this dumbass, inviting somebody over to Albuquerque. So at the time I was living with John Hearn. I was in his dad's house, and his dad is a very mean and very just stern, grumpy old man, construction worker. And so it's late at night, typical gamers when they arrive in Albuquerque. I can't remember the situation. Maybe there was a tournament that weekend or something. But anyway, these are our friends from Arizona who, by the way, don't really know us that well. We just met one time, right? We ad hoc kind of got them to show up in Albuquerque. And so they show up at John Hearn's house. And John Hearn's dad's bedroom is near the front door, and we didn't tell him that we had invited guests into his home.
Okay.
John Hearn didn't even know, by the way. Like I was just the worst house guest.
This
I'm
sounds
just
like a decent move.
Yes, it's horrible. Okay, so they show up and they're like texting me or whatever, be like, "Hey, we're here. Where are you?" And I'm like panicking because I haven't told anybody that they're showing up, and it's just super awkward. Michelle's there. And I'm like, all right, I got a plan. We can't bring you through the front door because that'll alert the dad. So we want you to climb in through the window of this bedroom.
Oh my God.
Okay. So, like it's just this. When they come in, they're like in a totally foreign state with these people they barely know sneaking into a window. And it's just like I try to put myself in their shoes of what they experienced that day. And they laugh about it now because they're like, dude, whose house was that? Like, they're so confused by the whole situation. And I was just trying to not give them information, not tell them, that like, oh, I don't even have a house.
Very deceptive.
It's just so... Oh God! And keep in mind, I obviously butchered the story. There's so many details, and it's many years ago, and my brain doesn't work. But the way that the Arizona guys tell it, it makes me laugh uncontrollably every time. So, like,
it probably sounds like you're breaking into
to them
somebody's
several
house.
Times. Yeah, they really thought that. They're like, dude, so are we even allowed to be here? Like. They were depending on me, and I let them down.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
And I did this to them several times. John Hearn's house at the dad's. Then there was this weird situation with the mom's house where, like, Michelle and I left. This was many years later. The same guy, his name's Chucky, Carlos.
Sure.
He came over to John Hearn's. Actually, a couple of them, I think. Anyway, he came over, and I had promised Hearn that I would do something with her, like a previous engagement. Maybe it was like... Anyway, there was I had to be with him, and Chucky couldn't come. So Chucky got left behind in another John Hearn's mom's house, and she was there vacuuming, and she didn't know her. She also didn't know that he was there. He was just hidden in the back room in a total stranger's house, and we left him for like 4 hours. John, I don't know, dude. Like, we didn't plan, and it was horrible.
Did you think he was like a robber or something,
like,
or was he
right,
just like? Did he stay hidden for the whole time?
I think it was just I think he was just in the room playing with the game by himself, and it was just like, God, I'm so butchering the stories, but
I got the gist of it. It's pretty.
Oh my God.
Well, it's impressive because I know you.
Yeah.
And if this is like one person that was like a one-off mistake, it'd be like, okay, well, that's sort of innocuous. But if it's Jason, who has a history of not telling people vital information.
Exactly, dude. I just don't understand why it didn't strike, like, why it didn't click in my brain to be like, all right, you know what, let's give some people some information.
Yeah, well. Do you remember... This, I guess, is a story about you and JR.
Oh my
gosh. You had at some point mentioned that, like, you were talking to JR about, like, facts, and, like, he was always giving you, like, information and knowledge, because he's about our age, though. He looked older. He sort of felt like he was, like, a taller guy who loved, like, cars and ATVs and stuff.
Totally.
And I remember you came over one day, and you're like, John, JR told me that if the Earth were flat, you could see all the way to China. I remember you were so blown away with this new fact of how impressive the human eyeball is. And it was like, yeah, Jason, you can see to the moon. That's much further away.
Oh, fuck. I didn't think about it. Oh, facts are impressive sometimes.
I agree. I like them.
Damn it.
I'm trying to think if I have any stories that you might find, fun. Like, there's funny things, but I can't think of anything that, like, without you being there annoying the person explicitly.
Yeah.
But even then, like, I've got, like, I'm sure troves of stories that I think are hilarious, but...
Yeah. Well, I just thought of it because, you hear comedians all the time tell stories.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A lot of their bits are stories.
Yeah.
And I know that they're very refined stories. Like they
Sure.
practice them. It's a craft, right? They repeat these stories and edit them.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the very least, I wanted to tell a story about Arizona guys.
Yeah. It's a good story, too.
And see, oh, dude, it's God. I left out so many things because my brain doesn't work. But oh my gosh, I create really uncomfortable situations, John. Really bad.
You know what? Life is just uncomfortable situations.
Do you remember when Lucas? There was a feud between Danny and Lucas, and it was freezing outside. And Danny peed all over Lucas's windshield and mirror and driver's window and his door.
I don't know if I remember this.
You don't know this?
It kind of sounds familiar, but maybe. I don't know.
Okay, so we all made fun of Lucas Duncan because he had this El Camino, and like it was so uncharacteristic for him to have this car. Anyway, I don't know what happened between them, but yeah, Danny went outside, peed all over the driver's side window, the driver's side mirror, the driver's side window, and then the side window, and the doorknob. Lucas went out there, and it was freezing cold, and Lucas went home 2 a.m. or whatever, typical hanging out, and he's noticed all this frozen something all over his car, and he was like testing out what it was, and then like he licked it.
Oh my god!
And we dude, we laughed so much at this innocent man, and it was just unbelievably funny that it just so happened to be that he was testing the limits of what this was, the substance, and he licked it, dude. It was pee.
That is. Why would you experiment with something on your car with your tongue?
We don't
let
know.
it
That's
be known,
what was funny.
by the way, that I love Lucas dearly. He is one of our best friends. He's one of my best friends for like almost 40 years, like probably 35 years. I've known Lucas since I was like 5 years old. And I just house sat for him like the other weekend, and we've had our ups and downs, but largely up at this point. And we were during the era of this story, I'm sure, younger and dumber and doing what we did. But why would you test the mysterious ice on your car with your tongue?
That's what blew us away. We knew that there would be a reaction where you put your hand on the doorknob to open it, and you're like, oh guys, you got me. You
I'd wipe it on my pants first thing. I would not put it in my mouth. So, did you guys tell him at any point?
Oh, that detail escapes me. In fact, I don't even realize. I don't remember the details of how we found out that he licked it. I think he came in and said something. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm a terrible storyteller because I forget everything and I don't. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. I wonder if he remembers that. How long ago was that? 2004, 5, 6?
Really long time ago. Really long time ago. Yeah, probably.
When did he have the El Camino? That was probably early 2000s?
I bet he still has the El Camino.
I think he sold it.
Oh, really?
I think he sold that in the Chevelle.
Holy cow.
Yeah, he got himself like a new... I don't know anything about cars. It's a new white car.
Tesla.
You probably, yeah. It's it's a nice car, though. It's a nice white car. Probably a Tesla.
Oh. It's probably a Tesla. Oh my gosh. I hate it.
Do you remember when I first started seeing Michelle? And I was telling my dad this the other day because he was just sort of curious as to like, what like he was asking about like Noda's restaurant and that Noda's was really far away, right? That restaurant was really far out there. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it was deep into Rio Rancho. It wasn't just like at it was in Rio Rancho. And then I said, you remember Michelle? And he goes, oh, the one who worked there, right? Did her mom own it? And I said, no, her mom just worked there. But I said, imagine driving 2 Nodas, but then driving more than twice that to get to Michelle's.
Oh my gosh.
When she used to live way out, literally the edge of Rio Rancho.
Yes.
It was like a 45-minute drive. You could drive to Santa Fe in the amount of time it took to get to her place.
I know. It was so long. You would always ask just for the company. You'd be like, hey, we're going to go pick up...
I wanted somebody to go with me because it was a lonely car ride. I could listen to the same CD over and over every time. But I always wanted somebody to come with me because it was such a drive out there.
Yeah. Gosh,
Nope. That's too far.
it's too far, man.
It's too far. I don't date people who live that far away anymore.
Don't do it. It's not worth it.
Not worth it.
It's
Yeah.
not worth it. God,
Oh.
I love you. Is there anything you wanted to? I'm sorry, by the way, for flaking. We were supposed
No.
to do this every 2 weeks, and I wanted to do it, but then I traveled back to New Mexico. It totally threw a monkey wrench in the cogs. So
No, you're good. I'm actually looking to see if anybody has any questions on our podcast, and it was just you and I commented on it, and that's it. Wealth
There
Gap,
you go,
the
man.
Gap, Grand Canyon. That made me laugh too, by the way.
I thought of what other gaps are there, and I was like, well, the Grand Canyon could be considered a gap.
Like a thigh gap.
I didn't think of that.
That's a good
See?
one. Yeah.
See?
Well, I mean, this is why we're partners.
You went to high school. You got that education.
I was at high school. I didn't pay a lot of attention. I think we talked about that already.
Yeah.
I just, it was more of an excuse to hang out with friends. I don't remember a lot about classes. I remember a couple key things, but it was more to hang out with friends between classes or during classes, if possible.
But your mother was Caucasian, which raises your IQ, I think, and credit score instantly upon. You know what I mean?
That's probably true. My opportunity for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But I'll be more regular. I'll take fiber. I'll poop more regularly, and I'll also show up to the podcast every 2 weeks.
So what kind of fiber are you going to be taking? Are you going to be eating like frosted mini wheats or like fiber bars? Fiberglass.
Metamucil. I'm old.
Metamucil.
Gonna hit the actual Metamucil.
How have your poops been recently? Are you regular?
I feel like I poop once a day, and honestly, since I moved away from New Mexico, this is gonna be interesting, but I don't really diarrhea that much anymore.
That's
I
good.
used to exclusively just have float shit and water shit. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I remember.
Yeah, and it would just. There was no density. There was nothing to really anchor it. You know what I'm saying?
Pure cream.
Pure. It's like Danny described it as a double gulp, like a 64 ounce, just being poured into the toilet bowl when he would hear me shit outside the bathroom door.
Was he like staying out there listening to you, keeping you company, or was he just making an observation?
No, because I used to call. I was that really annoying person. And I was like, Danny, come in the bathroom with me. And
come in the bathroom.
I would always ask people to join me to listen to my shits
To listen. Funny. You wanted, so it wasn't for the company. You just wanted them to experience what you're experiencing.
Yeah. That's true.
Because when I was younger, I used to have a friend who would like sit outside the door and talk to me to keep me company, so I had something to do.
Yeah. See, that's a nice friend.
Yeah, it's respectful to do your peers.
See, your stories are always inspirational and about camaraderie. Mine are like horrible, just like come smell this shit, dude. It stinks. Like
I can't remember if we did this to like somebody at one point, but I think there was a time when like in the car you farted and it smelled so bad, and so we turned on the heat and closed the windows and locked them. And I think somebody else was in the car that hated it. Like in my mom's Acura or something, we were borrowing the car. Did we do that to Erin?
It was very likely.
We might have done
like
that to Erin. I
innocent
feel
people.
really bad now, but
yeah,
she's still alive. She's good.
She's good. She made it.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Again, you live and you learn, right? I can't even imagine like farting in front of people anymore. I fart in front of Michelle, but like I try to even be respectful like that. Like
sure, I'll fart in front of Ariel all day long. I'll fucking all over the place. Like,
dude, how have you? You must be like good in the sack, because to for a relationship to last after that, Michelle will literally rush at me and attack me if I fart in her presence. Like it's a contract that we have, an agreement that we have, that if I cross a limit, if I cross that boundary,
yeah,
she's gonna cross a boundary as well and punish me.
What is the punishment usually?
Just physical attacks.
There's actual like assault.
Yeah, like no, like really like
punch you in the nose and
she hits me, not in the face, because I'll get pissed.
It's fair.
You know what I mean? I still got testosterone, bro.
One of the only times I can remember seeing you like really, really angry, and you didn't. This is like a weird anger. is we had purchased that little vial of habanero 750, like the 750,000 Scoville hot sauce, and we were eating something in my mom's little sunroom. I don't remember what it was, and I had put some of that sauce in your taco. I think it was tacos or burritos or something like that, without you knowing. And what you did is you were just sitting there, and we didn't say anything. And Michelle and I were sitting there sort of watching you, and you would start eating it, and your face would just turn red, and you just looked really angry, like your brow just furrowed, and you just sat there. Do you remember this at all?
I remember this because I wasn't aware. You guys told me later that I was just getting more and more and more angry as I was eating the tacos. But I didn't stop. I didn't question it. I didn't, you know what I mean? I'm not.
Yeah, you just kept going. You just powered through it for some reason. You were like, something's wrong, but I can't identify it, so you just kept pursuing.
The fact that you guys were sitting there watching me and you had inside information is so funny to me. And the fact that I was dumb enough to just be like physically changing because of it.
You looked really mad. And your face was just red. It was hot. That stuff's really hot, though. So, I mean, nobody. So, okay, I'll give you one more story. We were playing Smash Brothers, Mom's living room. 2001, probably. 2002, I don't know. And we were in the kitchen doing, like, a habanero challenge or whatever, where you take, like, a little piece of the habanero, or a drop, and put it, like, on a gummy bear and eat it. Or put it, like, on a bite of ice cream or whatever and eat it. And, like, we would just put it on things on a chip. And everybody would eat it. Squeaks and me and Slimpy. And I assumed that you and Danny and Michelle and everybody were there. But at some point, Slimpy got some on his finger, and it just started burning him. So he was like, oh, I got to get this off. And he ran over to the sink, and he washed it and washed it and washed it and washed it. And after like 10 minutes, he's like, okay, cool. Like, it doesn't hurt anymore. And so, cool, no harm, no foul. We're all hanging out playing games. And when we were playing Smash Brothers, he had a tendency to not blink. And while we were playing, like, we finished up the round, and his eyes were dried out, so he went up to adjust his contact, and that's all it takes is the residue that remained, and it just started burning his eye, and he just stood up, he's like, what? And he just ran back over to the sink and pulled his contact out and was trying to, like, rinse it off, and I think it just ruined the contact, because, like, that's on there forever.
Yes, dude.
I love Slimpy. That's your profile picture on Discord for some reason.
Oh yeah, I thought that would be funny.
Have you seen his beard?
It's out of control, dude.
It is like massive.
It's like that. What is that band that talks about marijuana? The Doobie Brothers. I imagine he's a Doobie brother.
That's the one. That's the band.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like, he was, like, into rugs, I guess, and, like, just started growing his hair out. I don't know.
He does look like a crazy old man. I love it so much.
Yeah. I'm sad that I don't keep in contact with him, but I feel like he's moved on to bigger and brighter, wider things.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing these days. He's still in town, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll reach out and catch up with him.
I think he's just experienced a societal shift where, like, he's met people that make more money, and he's just into that now.
So he just lives in a penthouse in downtown Albuquerque?
That's what I believe in my heart. I actually have no basis for this opinion. I feel like he just, like, rubs elbows with the elite, the Albuquerque elite these days.
Does he do? I mean, maybe. Yeah, for all I know. With his huge beard, and he's in, like, a business suit.
Doobie Brother beard, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. That's a good point.
Dude, I'm sorry that nobody commented on what they want to talk about.
That's okay. I had a couple of people that mentioned, they're like, I'm going to ask you guys so many questions, and then they never did. And that's fine. We'll wing it forever if that's just what it comes down to.
I'll make a fake Facebook profile and be like, I want to talk about this. You know?
Just some sort of, like, Watergate or whatever.
Yeah. Well, fake it till you make it, bro.
That's
fake
fair.
the fans.
Fake it. Fake the feds?
Fake the fans.
Fake the fans. That's true. If we have enough fake fans, we'll win.
I watched the YouTube video on loop, hoping that it accumulates more views so that eventually we'll get in the million views club.
You know what? I'm gonna hit 1 million views on this from this video alone.
Well, yeah.
It's gonna do it. This episode.
You just gotta put the right hashtags. You just gotta put. All right, Jason.
So Here's what I want to do. I'm going to give you 1 minute to make me laugh.
All right, I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, shit. I don't even know if I'm ready. All right. And, whoops, that's 1 second, not 1 minute. Okay. And, go.
All right. The Top Gun anthem is playing. It's powerful. Right? And you see the cosmos, and the camera is zooming out of the cosmos quickly, until finally the camera zooms out far enough that it's the pupil of somebody's eye. The camera's zooming out further. The Top Gun anthem is reaching its crescendo. You realize it's a super albino kid in a wheelchair. He's a paraplegic, and his wheelchair's going off the edge of a cliff, and the Top Gun anthem is just wailing, and the camera zooms out. He goes over the edge, and that's it. You don't know what happens. All right. Imagine an old lady at the bingo, and she yells "bingo," and her gums are bleeding all uncontrollably all over. I'm sorry, John.
Oh.
Sorry.
The first 10 seconds I was like, I got this.
Yeah.
And then the just launching off the wheel, the cliff face for no reason.
You don't know if he did it on purpose or somebody sabotaged his machine.
Yeah, you'll never know. Yeah. What became of him? The Top Gun theme was good. Oh. I hate this game.
I hate it, dude. I hate it.
Oh boy. I guess it's my turn now, right?
I'm ready. Hold on, let me get a...
Man.
Shit, I don't even have a phone near me for...
Good, I don't want to do this.
I'm ready. You let me know if you've felt you've gone far enough, and I'll let you know.
I mean, I'll give it a minute. That's the challenge, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so...
but I don't have a timer.
Well... You could set like a Google timer if you just like type Google timer into like a web page.
Wait, really?
Yep.
All right, hold on. Oh shit.
Or I can set a timer too. I mean, either way.
Google timer. I see it. 5 seconds. How do you? I'm gonna put a stop. I'm gonna do stopwatch. I see a stopwatch.
That's fine too.
Are you ready? You tell me and I'll click it.
All right. I'm just gonna say go, because otherwise, like, I'm gonna sit here and second guess myself forever.
Mm-hmm. I'm ready. Oh, do you want me to say go?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. Come on in, little boy, to the Chinese factory drink den. Everything you love is here. Your grandfather. Your great-grandfather.
You're so dumb, dude. You're so stupid.
There was nothing good about that.
No. I imagined V for Vendetta face and like just like giving me the tour when you're fucked up.
I don't even know if you watched me spit stupid propel all over my chest.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Uncomfortable and awful, and that's a page out of your book. Yeah, it's like literally all over my shirt.
Oh no,
like
you gotta watch that before it stains. It's gonna stain.
It's going to stain. Oh shoot! Well,
razor burn.
I think razor burn, man. I think that's what happened. Jason, I'm gonna say something.
I'm gonna actually make up a list of things to do on the next episode. What's up, brother?
Throughout the week, let's make some notes on things to talk about. Yeah. I think we said that last week too, and I just totally forgot, or last time.
Yeah, but we'll never really do it though.
That's also true. I do just want to say that I genuinely appreciate you. and I'm glad for the past, about 24 years. I think it was 97, maybe it was 98.
Yeah.
23 years. That's still pretty hefty. And I'm glad we get to keep in touch like this. I'm glad we get the chance to do this. It really does mean a lot to me. And maybe I did this already 2 weeks ago or 2 sessions ago or whatever. But I'll do it again because it really, like, the opportunity to still keep in touch with people from my past that I appreciate and love is a really blessed opportunity. So every week that we get to do this is a week that I enjoy.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I love you. And
I'm gonna
give a shout out to one of the people that I remember every episode now. That's my new tradition.
New tradition. All right, shout out. Yeah, let's hear it. Who do we got?
Shout out to. Shout out to you. You mentioned him earlier. Patrick McCann, I think is his name.
Patrick McCann. That's the one.
Shout out to him because, dude, he knows more about like internet, like funny things. I feel like any subject you bring up with him, he'll quickly turn around and then he'll quickly show you something that you just mentioned, and he'll just show you a funnier version of some. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
He's just connected.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Made me laugh. Yeah.
Pat comes in the shop and hangs out with me, and he just has TikToks available at every opportunity, and it's always funny. Every single one is exactly what I need to see. And if I open up TikTok, I can't find anything. Like, it'll be just like a guy at a bowling alley, like, looking for his hat or whatever, and I can't ever find anything good. And Pat just goes, like, here's one of, like, a dog just laying on the ground, peeing and looking at you. And it always gets me.
He knows, dude.
He knows.
He's in the know.
Yeah.
All right, I love you. Thank you for this episode. Again, sorry for the letdown.
Love you too. Oh, no letdown at all. We're adults.
We'll
we have busy lives, and that's how it goes. I'll see you next time on Razor Burn.
Razor Burn.
Burn. Whoa, yeah.
We also got to talk about an opening theme song.
Do you want me to try to write something?
I had an idea of something I thought of. It was... Okay. Because you've written a bunch of hilarious music already.
Well, I've written music. I don't know if it's good, but I had a fun time doing it. I guess is the bottom line. Yes.
No, you've written some funny stuff, dude. Oero. I mean, you know you've made some Fat Elephant. Come on.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. But yeah. I can't remember exactly what I thought of as an idea of a potential
Fat Elephant
intro
is good.
song. So good. But if I think about it this week, I'll remember to put it on a notepad and bring it up with you.
What if I told you the video didn't record at all? I've got my full audio transcription here, but I have no video. Every week there's something.
Razor Burn.
That is Razor Burn. So this is like an audio-only episode, but we also could do just the video of you, a one-sided video, and that would also be really funny.
It would be funny. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we do have one video feed, so might as well use the damn thing.
I can't believe this. Well, the Podbean audience will miss nothing. The YouTube video will be pretty funny, though.
Yep.
I'll still upload it.
We'll do better next time. Well, we're releasing, baby.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, thank you all for listening, and we'll be back next time with another episode of Razor Burn. Good night.
Good night. Love you. I'll give you the files just as soon as I get them. Don't be mad. Yeah. It's gonna be really like dude, this is the good shit. Don't even worry about it. This is actually funnier that like we're constantly having errors. Guaranteed that my video won't work either, so we'll see. Yep. All right, I love you. Okay, don't stress. It's funny. Okay.
Night night.